Oh yeah, listener, and forget about the two eras of boxing, right? Like, so let's say he conquered the '70s as world champ, right? And then what? He conquered the '90s when he knocked out Michael Moore. How about the fact that he conquered the world with his Foreman grill? And I read a book at one point where Foreman was very upset after he lost that decision to Evander Holyfield. He had won, like, I don't know, 23 fights and has come back, got the title shot, and then lost. And he said to Jesse Jackson after, "What do I do?" And Jesse Jackson looked at him and said, "George, this is a success. This isn't a failure, man. You go out there and you call it a success." And George went around going, "Hip, hip, hooray, hip, hip, hooray." And Jesse Jackson was dead right, man. I mean, talk about a man and I think the reason those things happened for George the way he did is because he's a man of God. And not just when he became religious after Jimmy Young. How about in the Olympics when everybody was showing up that Black Power salute? George Foreman didn't do that. He got up there and he brought up a little American flag and he waved it for the crowd. I know recently Larry Holmes had spouted off about how George Foreman was actually a terrible boxer. He couldn't fight and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure Holmes feels terrible about the timing now. What the heck is Holmes talking about? Guys, I'll tell you. So in the fight game, there's skill. Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali had a lot with boxing, right? And then there's sheer humanity, your brutality, your ability to withstand punishment, your ability to give punishment. And by all accounts, George Foreman was not a boxer, right? Like, they used to try to train him how to box in between his fights because he didn't have anything else to do with it. But it didn't matter because when we were in there, he annihilated people because he was so big, nobody could hurt him, and his punches killed people. So what was happening at heavyweight is what I talk about happens at every other weight, meaning like me as a 220-pound fighter, if I'm fighting a guy, you might know him, he might be champion of the world at junior middleweight in boxing or lightweight in MMA, 155 pounds. I'll tell you what, guys, he ain't beating me. And why is he not beating me? Because nothing he does can hurt me. And everything I do hurts him, right? And that was George Foreman in the heavyweight division for a long time. If you watch his fight with Holyfield gets off real quick like Usyk, but then he holds tight because he knew he could get knocked out. Now, unfortunately, Michael Moore, the arrogance of youth, when Michael Moore was doing that to Foreman, he wasn't holding on. He was boxing around, slamming around, thinking, "Oh, no big deal." And sure enough, George's big right found that chin. George Foreman, man, is a success, not just in boxing, but in life. I mean, the man knew how to do it. Why? Man of God, right? Put others before himself. Came back to boxing because his manager friend stole all his money, or misappropriated it at least, and he needed cash. Well, he got that cash, kept going, and this is the stuff dreams are made of, man. The guy's life should be celebrated. Unbelievable. Everybody, read my book, Warrior of the Light.